unlike any other. It's our freedoms and the opportunities that we enjoy that have attracted immigrants from all over the world since this country began, since the Pilgrims first landed. America was made strong by the bold, best, and brightest people from around the world coming to our shores, yearning to breathe free and embrace the economic opportunities that come with that freedom. Immigrants from all over the world coming here, joining the melting pot, and becoming Americans. Immigrants came here then, immigrants come here today for the same reason, for the promise of America that says, in America, you can become and achieve anything you want through a combination of determination, education, and hard work. That's the American dream. And it still survives today, even in tough economic times like this. And yes, the dream is in danger. And that's why we need new leadership in Washington that's willing to fight for all of us. And that's why I'm running for U.S. Congress to represent the 3rd District. But the American dream does survive. But there's another part to the American dream. The part that says, through peaceful, fair, and open elections, American citizens actually get to choose their leaders. That's a right that millions of people across the world do not have at all, or certainly don't enjoy to the extent that we do here in America. And even here in America, that dream didn't always apply to all people. I'll tell you about one of them. The wonderful woman that raised me for the first 12 years of my life, Rachel Winsley. She was born in 1911 in the segregated South of Macon, Georgia. She was both black and a woman. She could have gotten killed for going next to a ballot box. And even after the passing of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, she literally risked her life to go out and exercise her newly won right and cast her ballot after being told by a white man in Macon, Georgia, that niggers don't vote in Macon. So I know how precious the right to vote is. And I know how many people have fought for the right of minorities and women to be able to vote and have died to secure that right. But the right to vote is available now to everyone with one basic requirement. You have to be an American citizen in order to get that right. That's it. That's the way it should be. That's the way it must remain. And that's why I'm here today. Because I am condemning and denouncing the proposal by New Haven Mayor John DeStefano to allow undocumented immigrants to vote in municipal elections. And I challenge Congresswoman Rosa Delauro to join me in denouncing this proposal. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I love this country. I proudly served in the U.S. military, and I will proudly and humbly serve in public office if you choose to elect me as your next congressional representative. And I will protect the voting rights of United States citizens and the voting process. Congresswoman Delauro, I ask you to protect that process as well, to protect the value of the citizens' vote. It should not be diluted at any level by the votes of non-citizens. And if you don't, well then I will. If elected as the next congressional representative for the 3rd District, I will propose legislation that will strengthen the Voting Rights Act and make sure that American citizens vote, period. You know, this is just one more example of how the concept of common sense has really left government at all levels local, state, and federal. Yeah, I personally can't think of any real reason why a politician would propose a measure such as this. I mean, other than, perhaps to pad their voter base after winning a close re-election. And if that's the case, well, then Mayor John DeStefano should be ashamed of himself for trying to exploit an entire class of people for political gain, if that's the case. But whatever the reason, this proposal runs against the state constitution and the spirit of the Voting Rights Act. It's reckless and misguided. Millions of people in the United States right now work as temporary workers, as contract workers for companies. And as temps, they don't enjoy all of the benefits and perks that employees enjoy. Health insurance, to name one. But they don't get those perks. You know why? Because they're not employees, they're temps. You have to be an employee in order to get the perks. Well, guess what? One of the greatest perks of being an American citizen is the right to vote. But you have to be a citizen in order to get the perk. That's all I'm saying. That's what our Constitution says. If we start extending that perk or right to non-citizens, well, not only does it devalue the votes of citizens, but it's also an insult to every immigrant that has come to this country, worked hard, done the right thing to actually become an American citizen and gain the right to vote. I spoke to a wonderful young man just yesterday about this issue. Nazi Nugent. He serves on the Board of Education in Prospect. He and his family immigrated to the United States from Lebanon. They came here, worked hard, became citizens, and now many of those family members actually serve as public servants in various capacities here in Connecticut. And he said to me, Wayne, you know what? This is an insult to me and to everyone that comes here and does the right thing and goes through the process. Now, if you want to talk about streamlining the immigration process, I'm all for that. But this, tampering with the very process that chooses our leadership, not at all. Not at all. Not for a second. Every resident of New Haven would be far better served by their leaders at all levels if they focused on important things like perhaps bringing more jobs to Connecticut, bringing more jobs to New Haven, so that there's more economic opportunity for everyone. That's where the focus should be. Far too long, the politicians have been kicking the can down the road, so to speak, and trying to distract voters with stupid side issues. And it's time for that to stop, because look at the mess we're in. That's why we have people camped out in the green right here in New Haven. If there were enough jobs to go around, they wouldn't be there. They'd be at work. Or they'd be doing whatever it was they were doing 2, 3, 4 years ago. Because guess what? They weren't there. That's what we should be focusing on. It's time for fresh, bold leadership from people who aren't afraid to roll up their sleeves and do the hard work that it takes to turn this thing around and get this country, get this state moving in the right direction once again. And that is why I am here. So, tell your neighbors, tell your friends. There's a fresh, new voice in the 3rd District. And let them know we all win with Winsley. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Sir, just give me your name again and proper spelling so it's on tape here.
Wayne Winsley. Winsley.